Welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed lunch, and thank you again to Dakota Supply Group for sponsoring lunch today. We appreciate their sponsorship. We're going to kick things off with a panel discussion with our folks from NAED. You guys did a great job this morning keeping things moving, great dialogue, great comments, great questions, interaction. Keep that up this afternoon. We want to pepper our panelists with some good challenging questions from NAED and the industry experts as well this afternoon. So keep those questions coming, keep interacting. That's what makes it a great afternoon. So we appreciate that. Quick reminder, we'll do a break after this panel to kind of get our industry experts situated for their panel conversation. We do have a sheet in the back there if anybody do have or need plans for the evening and you want to sign up on one of the sheets. This break would be kind of your last chance to do a quick sign up in the back there. If you want to have dinner plans this evening, feel free to sign up on that sheet. So the panel this afternoon, we're going to have Mark Borgini from City Electric kind of moderating the panel for us back there, and Matt Teets somewhere running around with the microphone as well with your questions. So please be interactive. Please bring your questions, and this is your chance to get your questions answered from an NAED perspective on the services they provide. So I'll kick it over to Mark and let the panel do its thing.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to do some brief introductions from our left to right. You've got Scott Costa, publisher of TED Magazine. You've got Allison Olden, who is the Talent Recruitment and Retention Specialist. And then you've got Brian Peters, who is the Membership Director. And I'd like to thank all of you for submitting questions for the panel to answer about NAED and what they're going to do for you. This is your time to ask any questions that you have, whether you submitted one or not. And if for some reason we don't reach the question that you sent in, you can contact these guys afterwards, or someone from NAED will get back with you to answer your question. I think I want to start with a question, if you guys don't mind. Why don't we talk about what exactly is NAED? How are you composed? What do you do? What is NAED?
Great. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, we got a lot of questions. So thank you guys for replying to our survey. Reached out to my email. I think we got like 25 or 30 different topics. So again, we'll be around for the next couple days. You have hopefully our email and contact information. Specific questions we'll be following up. If we don't get to them over the next 30 minutes, either somebody from our membership or member services will be following up with your comments and questions. So NAED, we're based in St. Louis. We were actually based here in Chicago really from the get-go. We were founded in 1908. Been here probably, I think we were based in Chicago 20 some odd years. Moved to New York for a little bit. And the majority of the time we were based up in Connecticut. Moved to St. Louis in 1997-ish. We have about, 40 some odd staffers. TED Magazine, we've got probably 5 or 6, some of the graphic designers, Scott, our publisher, Misty Byers, our main editor. So we're all housed in St. Louis. Again, we've from a membership perspective, numbers, I think that was one of the questions in terms of how many distributors, how many manufacturers. On the distributor side, we have roughly 450 main houses as kind of like a headquarters. That represents about 5,700 branch locations all throughout the U.S. So you guys are a big body. You employ a lot of people. You have many, many locations. On the manufacturer supplier side, for those in the audience, we have about 290-ish supplier partners. I think It's Paid is here. We do have an allied partner status as well. So we have about 40 or 50 software type companies, credit and collection type companies, any service provider that either offers a service offering to the distributors or manufacturers. We do have an allied partner. That's kind of our third classification from a membership perspective. So,
and I'll add on to that, what NAED does is basically make all of your lives better, easier, and faster by just providing the best practices and the opportunities that we have. Whether it's help with hiring and retaining and mentoring, your new employees. We have those kinds of things. The board of directors that we have for NAED is working on a strategic plan, which is ways that we can help you not through 2016, but forward through 2026 and beyond, where you guys are going to be playing a bigger role anyway, especially as we're becoming young executives, and Larry, I know, is a part of that. So it's a very forward-thinking association that's here to help out not just member companies but member people. And so you're always welcome to reach out to somebody from NAED and try and get whatever help you can have, because there's probably a strong opportunity there where we actually can help you out with what it is that you need in your best practices or your strategies moving forward.
Who's next? Not all at once.
Hello, Rocky from KE Electric. This question is mostly for Allison. I'm sure you've had discussions with various distributors. What are some common problems you've noticed, common themes when it comes to recruitment and retention? And do you have any solutions or ways to tackle those problems?
Thanks for the question, Rocky. So I think historically, from a distributor standpoint, the biggest turnover is probably going to be in the warehouse and the drivers. There's really no magic, formula to help assist with that. However, we've started to come up with different ideas of thinking outside the box of how you can retain those folks. And it might be to target, there's a lot of, companies or even organizations out there that help people that maybe are low-income families. I even have a distributor that recruits from, if you can get daycare assistants, and some of the moms, maybe their husbands they'll do like the graveyard shift, the second, the third shift. If some of y'all do have that 24-hour, that's not fun to staff those second and third shift. And even, believe it or not, even looking at the law enforcement side of things, those that have gotten out and they're ready to get back in the world and they're removing check the box. A lot of states are, because more and more people are having that, types of backgrounds. And then, so that's just from the turnover standpoint. More and more distributors are adding more specialist roles. And so we're starting to think about that. We have an Education Development Council. We do have Bob Cox here from United Electric that's heavily on that with us, and he actually is going to be heading that executive team up this year. And one of the things we're going to be doing is looking at building vertical training for those specialist roles, because we don't have that offering so much right now for the, like automation specialists, et cetera. Another thing is more and more people, they want electrical experience because they don't want to train them, and people are they're less hesitant to go with maybe a green grad because they got to hold their hand. And so grad schools have actually really been successful. You find that 3 to 5, even 8 year, who's got that work experience, got that sales background. So just think about that, because people are trying to steer away from taking each other's staff, because they're investing a lot of time and effort and money and the turnover. The overhead of those employees, obviously, whenever y'all lose an employee. Other trends, more and more college recruiting, I would say, and strategic. More and more distributors are adding more recruiters, and I'm trying to work with them to be more strategic. And I'm not going to say aggressive, because that's like, I came from a world where it's like, go out and get them and drag them in, kind of thing. So I don't know what post and pray is, but a lot of the HR, some of the HR folks have done that. How do you post? Is it social media? A lot more investing dollars into social media as well. So these are some good trends that I'm seeing. Some are more advanced than others. And I even work with the manufacturers as well. Is that like the longest response ever, or what?
But we've got, we have nice relationship. For example, like Texas A&M, we have a lot of collaboration with their program down in Texas. Purdue University has an outstanding UID program every February, early part of the year. So we typically represent NAD, our association, at their event. Nebraska Kearney, we've got a good alliance with their program. So Georgia Tech, we just brought on board a couple months ago, maybe. So we do have kind of the fourth classification, if you will, is like a university alliance partner as well. So in your own markets, your own cities, if you have even the tech schools and colleges, the community colleges, we want to know who those players are. So if you have a relationship with the directors in those markets or the business program manager, let us know that, let Allison know, let our team know, because we want to further build, our relationships there as well. So kind of keep that in mind as well.
And I'll add one quick social media thing really quick. The companies that you work for probably have some kind of social media, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or whatever. Here's the thing, you do too. And the fact is the companies that have these social media sites have basically the same audience that they've always had. It's mostly their customers. But you have real people who follow you. People are just like you. And so when you post a picture of yourself at the LEAD conference and say, my company is so awesome because it sends me to places like this and furthers my career. And you know what? We got openings. And if you're interested, you need to get in touch with me. I mean, you can reach far more people than your company's social media site can. I guarantee it. And so I think you have to talk to your bosses who have these great openings and opportunities that the right people don't see and don't know, and say, hey, if you don't mind, I'm going to post something on my Instagram because I have 1,000 followers, and somewhere in that 1,000, we're going to find one bright person who would be great at sales training or management training or whatever it might happen to be, and we'll make sure you approve of the message that I'm going to put out. But if you really want to recruit, we know you're smart, and you guys, a lot of you are award winners, and you're focused on your career and your building and you're going forward. Your social media account is far more valuable than TED Magazine's, which hits the same people all the time. I mean, you guys can really contact some great people to come to work with you that your bosses are really looking for. And I think you kind of have to look into recruiting somewhere along that path.
So during our roundtable discussion, we had somebody bring up the topic of the EPIC training. Just want to quickly poll the audience. Who knows about EPIC?
Yes.
Who's never heard of it? So maybe 1/3 of the room hasn't heard about it. Do you guys want to take an opportunity to talk a little bit about that program and how they can get involved with it?
Yeah, so the EPIC program, kind of what we hear talking with other distributors that are more engaged, I guess, with the program. Typically, it's 3 different levels. It's a bronze, silver, and gold level. Each level takes anywhere from about 6 to 8 months to get through. So there is a considerable kind of time commitment working through the program. But it's a great resource. EPIC's been around for like 26 something years. I always call it kind of the cornerstone behind our training. So it's a great resource. A couple years ago, we also rolled out a EPIC lighting only version. So if anybody on your team that are more, showroom or lighting only focused, we do have an EPIC lighting that's relatively new. In the process now through our EDC and our foundation, they're in the process of building an automation version. So that's kind of coming soon, if you will. So very product focused. They're working up blueprints and cut sheets and submittals, and we have retired reviewers probably from a lot of the companies in the room here. So the student, as they're working through the program, each different level, there's a capstone project at the end of each, for example, after the bronze level. So they have to submit the full package, the product, the package to these reviewers, and they can get through the program, or sometimes they have to resubmit if they miss certain areas. So it's a very product-focused offering that we have.
Also, EPIC Automation will be available in January. EPIC is a year-long program. You have a year to complete it. And we recommend bronze for somebody that has just a basic understanding of electrical products, not like, very, very new. It's good because we make it difficult for a reason. So those of you that have graduated, it is challenging, and when you move up to each level, they feel very accomplished. So it's a great program.
And it's pretty cool talking with, and I'll use a couple, for example, like the Gray Bars, the Rexels of the world. A lot of them, we're very engaged and entrenched with those type companies. They'll even kind of use the bronze level, a different concept to think about. But it's kind of like an onboarding. So I think they give them maybe anywhere 6 months or a year to complete it, the new hires. And it just gets them good exposure to not only different product information, but working together with their teams. So, you can certainly use it you don't have to get through all 3 levels at once. So kind of, if the student express interest, certainly start them with that bronze level. But from an onboarding standpoint, it's a great, great program.
And, I wear the TEDMag.com badge proudly. I'll say that if you go to TEDMag.com today, our exclusive feature that's at the top of the webpage is a change that's actually coming to Epic, where people who've taken Epic and passed it, they're looking for the feedback. They're about to redo Epic for 2017 because obviously some codes have changed and lighting has been radically changed over the past few years. So they're looking for people who've taken the Epic courses before. They want feedback as they prepare for the 2017 version. So I can get more into it, but I'll just tell you, go to tedmag.com and read the story and click the links and try and get involved, obviously, in bettering the program itself with what your real experiences are in going through the programs.